Let's take a look at filling the Viper2 with ink. So we're going to open up the cover, and on the cover it's actually labeled as to which ink or your cleaning solution goes into each slot. So we have already arranged the cartridges in the same order that we have listed here. So starting with our cleaning solution, seat that until it locks, the white ink, and just continue for all of your cartridges. Okay, we'll close the cover, and now we're going to power up. We're going to make sure the emergency stop button is not pushed in, which in this case it was, which often when it's shipped it is pushed in. And hit the power button. The machine is going to go through a little startup procedure, so we'll wait for it to finish that. And then the screen is going to come up with a ready status. Now that the machine has finished its startup cycle, you'll notice the green ready light is lit. We also have the ready status in the upper left-hand corner of the display. Over here you've got your photo black. We're not worried about that. It was the ready status that we were waiting for. Now, to actually put ink into the lines and into the dampers and printhead, we do what we call a power cleaning. So to get into the power cleaning, we press the menu button. Now we want to find the maintenance section, so we use the arrow buttons to go down to maintenance. You'll notice an arrow next to maintenance. That means to get into that menu, we hit the menu button. Now we're looking for power cleaning. We use the arrow keys to highlight power cleaning. Again, menu. And now to execute it, you'll notice the symbol has changed. It's the carriage return symbol. So to execute it, we press the enter button. Now it will do the power cleaning, which is filling the lines and the printhead and dampers with ink. So what we're going to look for is we're going to look inside the machine here now, and we want to watch the ink harness, okay, the tubing harness here, and we want to see the ink being drawn into it. Also, when the printhead moves away from the capping station, we want to keep inspecting this capping station. What we're looking for is the side closest to the side of the machine here. That's where your color ink is. We want that to become saturated with colored ink, and the front side, the part away from me on the capping station, we want that to be nicely saturated with white ink. So we're looking for a nice saturation of white and color on the capping station. If we don't have that, we will do another power cleaning and another power cleaning, as many as it takes until we see this capping station sufficiently full of ink. We could also look inside the door here where the waste tank is, and we can look at the tubing and see that there's waste ink being drawn into this waste container. When we see that, that's also an indicator that there's ink in the printhead. Typically on a new machine you're going to be doing 1 or 2 of these power cleanings, but it is possible that it will take 3 or 4. When we are done with the power cleanings, we will then proceed to do a head cleaning and then do our nozzle checks. Now, while this is finishing the cleaning, we're going to be doing a nozzle check. And when we do a nozzle check, it's always best done on a transparency. You can purchase these through any of your office supply companies, Office Max, Staples, any place like that. You may even possibly find them at a Walmart or any kind of stationery store. And it's a standard transparency. The reason we like to print the nozzle check on the transparency is because if I now take this, once it's printed, and put it on a light colored background, it makes it very easy to see the color. And if I put it in front of a dark background, it makes it very easy to see the white. So that's why we prefer this transparency. When we put the transparency on the machine, we're going to put it on our platen, so the platen's on the machine, and we're going to put it so that it's hanging off the front by about a ½ inch, off the right hand edge by a little over ¼ inch. Notice it is in landscape, not in portrait. And now we're back to our ready status. We're back to a green solid light. Now I'm going to push the platen in by hand until the back of the transparency here is just under our gap sensor. And then I'm going to hold the up button until it sets its own height. I let go. The light turns green, letting me know that it in fact is adjusted. And now I hit the load button to load the platen into the printer. Now, to do the nozzle check, we're going to come back to the control panel. We're going to hit menu. We want to go into the test print. Arrow down to test print. We have the arrow. Menu. We're going to do a nozzle check. Menu. And we want manual. You do not want to put this in an automatic nozzle check where it's doing it on a time cycle. It actually affects some of the other functions of the printer. So we want to go into manual. And now we want to actually print. We have the return carriage, so we hit enter, and we do the nozzle check. Now what we're looking for when this comes out is we want to see nice solid lines without breaks. Now again, I want to put this on a light background, and then we will see our colors better. And then we're going to put it on front of a dark background, and I can see the white better. So I'm going to now put this on top of some t-shirts so that the camera can see this better. Okay, so we're on our second cleaning. It's still in the process. You can see during this whole cleaning process, you have the display screen telling you that it's cleaning, please wait. So we're just waiting for it to finish. And once it's done, it comes back to a ready status. Again, if you were watching that capping station and you didn't have enough ink in there, you didn't see color on the one side and the other side really nice and white, then you might have to do another of the power cleanings. In this case, the capping station looked pretty good, so now we can move on to our next step, which is to do a cleaning and nozzle checks. Now that we've completed our power cleaning as well as our regular head cleaning, we checked our capping station. It was nicely saturated with ink. Now we're ready to do a nozzle check, and this is one of the most important steps, and this is something that not only are we going to do this when we start up a new printer, but this is something that we do each day that we are at the location where the printer is to ensure that we have a healthy print head. When you do a nozzle check, it's always best done on a transparency. It does make seeing the white and the colors easier. These transparencies are available through any home office supply company. You might find them at a Walmart or a Kmart or any place like that. but you'll definitely find them at like a Staples or an Office Max or any kind of place that sells stationery and office supplies. When we put the transparency down, we want it to hang off the front about an inch, inch and a quarter, and we want to come to this side as far as we can, but we don't want to hit the cover here. Okay, so I'm going to just push this in now by hand, and that'll give me a better gauge to make sure that I'm not going to hit the side here. Okay, and now I'm going to set the height. So I'm going to simply hold the up bed button until it stops itself, and then I'm going to load this platen along with the transparency into the machine. So I hit the load button, it draws it into the machine. Now to get into a nozzle check, we hit the menu button, we go down to test print using the arrow button, we hit the menu button, and we're on nozzle check. We hit the menu button again. Now, as far as manual and automatic, we always want to do a manual nozzle check. The automatic feature is there, but we don't use it because we find that it affects some of the other functions of the machine. So you don't want to use the automatic function. We want to use the manual. So while it's on manual, we hit the menu button, and now it's ready to print. Again, we have the carriage return symbol, so we hit the enter button. It is now going to print this test print. What we are looking for when we look at this, we want to see that there are no broken lines. So now that it is completed, I'm going to take a black shirt and a white shirt because black and white work the best. And I'm just going to set them down on the platen here, just so that we can inspect this. Now, if I take the transparency and lay it on a light colored background, we can see if we inspect the different areas. The magenta, the cyan. Now the cyan has one little break in it. The magenta has no breaks. The yellow is the hard one to see, but it actually has no breaks, and the black has no breaks. So that actually looks very good. Now, we are looking to see that we have nice solid lines. If you have a break here or there, that's really not a concern as long as there aren't a lot of breaks and they're not grouped together. The other thing that we want to look for is we want to look to see if when we do this nozzle check, then we do one or two more head cleanings, and then we do another nozzle check, we want to see that the lines are not staying in the same place, because when the breaks stay in the same place, that indicates that we have a clogged nozzle. Now, to see the white better, we put it in front of a dark background, and on that dark background now, we can see that the white looks excellent. You got to look at all four of them. And we have no breaks in that white, so that is an excellent nozzle check. So that indicates that I have a nice healthy print head. We don't have to do any more head cleanings or anything in order to proceed to printing. If we did have a bunch of breaks, again, you always want to keep the previous nozzle check because you want to compare the most recent nozzle check to the previous one, because we want to see if there are any breaks in those lines, and again, most importantly, if those breaks are staying in the same place or if they're moving around.